Hey everybody, it's Thomas. Let's talk about BBLoBB. Ugh. I This week was weird. Not for me. This week was pretty boring for me in a lot of ways. I got a level up on a fridge too far thanks to getting a touchdown. Got a block because that's what I'm gonna get here. Nothing else though. My MVP went to Bass Drum Emporium. Probably the only piece I probably kind of didn't want the MVP to go to. It's fine. I mean, that means all of my level 1 guys are one MVP away from leveling up. In fact, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces in MVP range, so that's good. But I kind of like more than that. But I can't complain too much. I've got the highest team value in the league by far, and yeah, I don't have a lot to complain about here. Nothing bad happened to me this week, which was great. Just more good things could have happened, I guess. Let's take a look at the game. Pretty weird game. Just played it last night, and Zach and I both weren't really hitting each other very hard. Zach hit me hard a couple times. He injured Betty's machetes, but I prudently used Apothecary to avoid a -1 MA, and then nothing really bad happened. He KO'd me a bunch of times in the last turn of the game, but that's about it. Game was pretty much, I was able to stop his drive, a big pass to nothing, which I could have done better, but let's not dwell on that too hard. Big pass to nothing resulted in him not being able to score in his turn, and then I was able to force my up the sidelines with some surfs and just some good stalling, marking. I was able to kind of dominate the right hand side of the pitch and get a touchdown in that way. But yeah, no one really wanted to hurt anybody on my team this week. So despite winning the game and rolling 80, which I'm all about because I'm really using my money, despite I think having a pretty good game, honestly, I didn't really do a whole lot. I broke armor a few times, but just got stuns. Tackled one of his ghouls. I mean, I just really didn't do a lot, but I certainly got hit a lot. Yeah, these 4 casualty sustains, most of these are from push-outs. I don't think I fouled him anything either. So yeah, despite winning the game, and having a pretty good game, honestly, the most SPP goes to Zach with 10. I mean, I still got 8, but would have been nice to get more of this 10 number. Nice vanity pass, and then 2 casualties will do that. So yeah, no big changes for me. No new fan factor, just got the 1 level up, so I'm at 1650, which again is crazy. I'm not really going to buy anything else because my team is looking pretty good, all things considered. I'm complaining because things aren't happening. And part of that is, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, but there's only so many weeks left in the season. So there's something to be said for, oh, I might have time to get all my guys to level 3 or level 4, but there's also the window where how useful are those abilities. Like, yeah, I'll probably get Wolf and Sheep Clothing to level 2, or level 3, I should say. I'll probably get a lot of these guys to level 3. Pitfighter Cultists, I'm sure, will hit level 2 or level 3 if they stay alive. I mean, Betty's Machetes should, in theory, hit level 2 at least, but how much use we'll make out of those skills really depends on when they happen, and they kind of need to happen the next couple weeks for them to be impactful overall. I mean, there's the mindset also of you just need to get to the playoffs, but we're about to hit the group stage, and that's where you really kind of need the skills. So I'd say these next 4 games are probably the most important in terms of team development, aside from the obvious early ones, just because you need to be able to get the skills in time for them to make a difference. We'll talk about that a little bit more too, because a bunch of teams are actually in the same boat as I am in terms of that department. Let's take a look at Zach's team though. So Zach got a fair amount of SPP, I mean 10, it's an okay amount, but no real big progressions aside from Jigsaw here hitting level, no, not Jigsaw, where is he? Here we go. Usain Bolt hitting level 2 and getting plus strength. God, oh, it's so good. I mean, ghouls are fragile, but a 4 strength ghoul is very, very good. This guy should probably become his ball blitzer. I would get like block and frenzy and all that fun stuff on this guy. There's not a lot of time to do that, but you know, ghouls can level up fast, so we'll see. I mean, Zach's big problem is he just doesn't have enough SPP on people. This is exacerbated by Meter Maid once again taking his MVP. Yes, everybody, you are reading this line correctly. 5 MVPs and nothing else. Meter Maid's SPP has all been through MVP. which is, it's funny. It's really funny because in some ways he doesn't want to foul with this piece pretty soon. But all that SPP could go going to much more helpful places. Fat Elvis could be level 2. These whites could both be level 3. I mean, his MVP has just not gone very useful place. I mean, it's gone to 2 whites, so that's pretty good. But that's really unfortunate. Kind of same story as last week. Zach doesn't need to buy anything. There's no reason to. Got 30k, but like me, he's not really spending his money because he doesn't need to, which is perfectly fine. He can now replace a mummy and a ghoul if things go bad, so that's a good amount of bank to have. So good deal there. Yeah, Zach just needs to get a little more SVP on some key pieces here. Alright, let's take a look at some of the other games here. Oh, I almost didn't want to talk about this game. I haven't watched this game. I watched part of it. Like, I popped in for a couple turns, and then I had to go to bed. But, this was, well, let's take a look here. So, before I looked in the game, I was like, oh, nobody died this week, and we have 2 deaths here. Or, as Chris told me, they've had 4 deaths. 4 deaths rolled anyway. Apothecaries were blown by turn 4, I want to say. That's what he told me anyway. So, yeah. Both Apos gone. For 7 art value wonders is a messy time. Chris's Vampires looks like they started to start hitting though, so we've got 3 casualties for Chris. That's 11 SPP. That's more than he got in a long time. Zach, on the other hand, hitting about as hard as he always does. 4 casualties, got some passing in here, and 2 touchdowns, and an MVP. I mean, he's got a lot of SVP coming his way, which is pretty nice, aside from the death, which is not good. But still, a pretty good amount of work here. We're looking at 10, 15, 21 SVP, which is good. Now, the problem is I don't know how much of that SVP went to Balderdash 2. The Super Gutter Runner is dead, and I feel kind of bad for rooting for its demise. I mean, from personal speaking, team development, this is great. I don't want to go up against that thing. It's a huge loss of team value for Jessup, unfortunately. It kind of sucks. He's got 2 level ups here, 1 on Blarney, which is great, and then 1 on Baloney. Malarkey here is much closer to level 4 than I'm comfortable with, but he's also out for the next game, which is pretty good for whoever he's playing next week. This guy's a beast. Croc being out with -1 MA also sucks, so 2 pretty big problems here. And actually, I didn't notice this until just now. Baloney has smashed collarbone, so he's out next game, and honestly should just get fired. A 2 strength lineman is not worth keeping. It's just a waste of team value at that point. Even if he gets doubles and gets guard or something, he's just not worth keeping. So Jessup's in a pretty precarious point. His team value is crazy low, because that's just how this team goes. He's got a really difficult choice to make. He rolled extremely well because he had fame. He rolled a 6 and got 80. Oh, I should mention how this game looked like. It kind of just looked like Chris's Vampires did Chris Vampire things and weren't able to dodge, weren't able to make passes, weren't able to GFI, and Zach, God, I keep doing that. Jessup, sorry everybody, was able to get the ball around and tossed out. But again, the problem is Chris put a lot of hurt on this team. 4 permanent injuries, 2 of which are fireable offenses. I mean, 1's dead, so he doesn't have the choice in the matter. But anyway, so Jessup has a difficult decision to make. He can buy 2 Gutter Runners with this money, or he can buy 1 Rat Ogre. I'm pretty sure he's going to want to buy the Rat Ogre, because that's how Jessup rolls. But I think there's a lot of temptation in buying both Gutter Runners. This team needs all the speedy, keep away from me power I can get now, and I don't know if the Rat Ogre adds enough of that. The other thing to keep in mind, too, is because he'll be short 4 pieces, assuming, I mean, this piece is missed next game no matter what he does, because he's short 4 pieces, he's going to have a lot of loners, so it might be more beneficial to maximize the amount of SPP you could get from MVP by hiring more people that can get the MVP. If he hires 2 Gutter Runners, he'll have 2 loners, which is more manageable, for sure. So I don't know. I mean, the other option would be to do kind of what I did with my elves last season. If 1 does level up, then you buy 1, and then decide what you want to purchase for the week after that. But so Jessup's gone from being kind of a terrifying team to being one that is manageable at best. I mean, he's still got some really scary pieces here. I mean, this guy's probably going to get guard and make this team a lot harder to deal with. Could get tackle too, obviously, but probably guard is the thing to get here. Although with Jessup's luck, it's probably going to be like plus strength or something crazy. I don't know. This team, it's still scary because gutter runners are still really good. And he can still move the ball pretty effectively. But it's a lot less scary now that's missing its two ridiculously lucky pieces. I don't know. His team value is obviously very low, which supports this, but it's kind of a mess, no matter how you slice it. All right, let's look at Chris. So yeah, Chris 10K, which is just great. Good news is not a lot to buy. It looks like Chris did buy 2 thralls, one of which is dead. So probably we'll look to replace that. Cheery is missed next game, which is not the end of the world. A little unfortunate because this piece really does add a lot. But Cheery cannot stay in the field to save its life. I'm not sure who the MVP went to. Probably another useless thrall by the looks of things. Let's double check here. Yeah. No vampires, of course not. The good news is Sally and Lynn Marlotta did level up, so that's good. I would probably get dodge, as unsuccessful as Chris's dodging has been. You could make an argument that Sally is better off getting block, but we'll see. I'm surprised Otto didn't level 3, but the way things are going for Chris, yeah, not the end of the world. I don't know, Chris's team is, as always, a bit of a mess, but at least he's getting level ups on his vampires now. There's still time for this team to get pretty scary, but the question is, will it be scary enough to compete with how scary everybody else is getting? I don't know. Alright, let's look at the other matches for the week here. Mark versus Orville. Norse versus Dark Elf. Exciting things happen for Mark. He rolled 80. This game, I don't know. Mark did Mark things with his team. He hit just hard enough, I guess, and was able to get the ball away from Orville. Orville did score pretty quickly, because that's the thing that elves can do, but Mark basically 2-1 grinded him, did the dirt, which is something Orville just does not defend well against. Orville made some misplays as well, and could have played a little bit better, but overall, I mean, Mark's team just hit hard enough where it didn't matter. Still, a pretty good game for Orville, all things considered. 3 passes, a casualty, touchdown, MVP. It's not too bad, all things considered. It's 12 SPP, which is not great, but certainly better than I did this week. Mark, 2 touchdowns, MVP, and a casualty, so not too bad there either. 12 SPP for him as well. And Mark's team is getting right back into speed, although Britta, much like Betty, refusing to hit anybody very hard. Scary thing is Abed, the Terror, is now level 4, and has guard. I think he was this... No, he had this last week. I don't know why I'm complaining about this. Any big changes here? I think Shirley hit level 2, or Pierce 2 hit level 2 this week. And I think that's it, honestly. Only 1 level up from what I remember. Oh, no. Jeff Winger here hit level 2 and got +1 agility, which is pretty exciting, actually. This opens up a lot of different possibilities for this team in terms of farming SPP quickly before the regular season is over. I mean... Mark's team is kind of terrifying in a lot of ways, but a lot of it relies on Abed. The Berserkers hit hard, but they aren't very strong, so they need support. Troy is refusing to hit level 3. He doesn't want to do it. And Mark's linemen are doing okay, but they aren't really that significant. Some they're very good, obviously, but still Mark's actually in a pretty good spot in terms of leveling up. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. Within MVP range of leveling up, so that's pretty good. I don't know if he wants to hire more linemen going into next week. He can certainly use the deeper bench long term, but I don't know if now is the time to do it. He's at 1510 for team value, which is quite a bit. I don't know. That's a tough call. I think he definitely needs more linemen long term, since right now he's sitting at 12 players, which is not quite enough for a team with 7 armor value at this stage of the game. Still, nobody's hitting harder than Mark at this point, so we shall see. I kind of feel like, I don't know, the advantage of not hiring more players is that you have a really good chance of a piece you do want to get an MVP and leveling up gets one. So things to consider, I guess. Yeah. So the win for Mark. Let's take a look at Orville's team though. See how bad things got. Not too bad actually. No permanent injuries. No big deals here. This guy did get Blodge. Yeah, no big changes here. How much money did he get? 10k. God, Orville's had terrible, terrible winnings luck. Just awful. That's not what this Dark Elf team needs. Did hire Blitz number 3, who didn't get leveled up, which I think is a mistake, but there's only so much you can do. I guess, is the safest thing to say. Honestly, Orville's money problems have been a pretty big hindrance to him, much like Sid last season. He's just unable to get the pieces that he needs to make this team viable long term. I mean, not that this team isn't good now, it just needs to be better than it is. So I don't know, he's got a bunch of level 3 pieces though. This team, the thing with Dark Elf is like any elf team, is that it's still scary at any point. You can definitely pull out a win at any point. And that's something that, I think that's something that's more relevant for the group stage. But for now, Orville just needs to keep doing what he's been doing, which is trying to farm SPP, get everybody up there. I mean, honestly, I'm just surprised that there isn't at least one SPP pass on Dude here. Hopefully that happens next game. So in case he gets the MVP, he will level up right away. It's one of the big strengths elf teams have. Otherwise, I mean, much like Mark, he's got a bunch of guys within MVP range. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Not as many as I thought, actually. So yeah, or at least one of loners next week. He's got that going for him. All right, let's take a look here. Yes, and then Chaos versus Chaos Dwarf. Already pulled out a win here right at the end. Right at the end, like turn 13, 14. Got to level up on Leopard Corinthian here. Miss next game on Link Star Set. Just a miss next game, though. It's not a big deal. 80k as well, which is a pretty good deal. This is a kind of a weird game, honestly. Andrew hit a little bit harder, but was unable to get a touchdown in. Got bottled up really hard in the first half. And then, I don't know, Gradix drive was just a little more successful. Andrew managed to tie up the ball carrier for a little bit, but then left a key space open. And then thanks to Horns, Gradix was able to blitz a hole. Chaos Warrior did the 3 agility dodge out, and then was able to just be safe enough. Bull Centaur Blitz did get the ball free eventually, but it wasn't supported at all. So the Chaos Warrior was able to blitz from the dirt, push away the Bull Centaur, and pick up the ball at the GFI and get the touchdown for the win. That said, Andrew actually comes out pretty good here. 9 SPP total is like not great, much like me. He wants more than that, but it's not bad by any means whatsoever. 10 SPP for Gradux here, so pretty close, all things considered. Leopard gets level up here. From what she was telling me, this is a doubles roll. Kind of a tough call what to do there. And this is what I was mentioning before, is there enough time for these skills to be impactful? The benefit is Leopard Corinthian does have 8 SPPs, so it isn't that far away of hitting level 3. But the question is, do you take dodge or some other agility skill now, or do you just go straight for block? The advantages of taking block, obviously, keep your team value low-ish, and block will have a lot more impact than not. I don't know. It's a tough decision to make. I certainly don't envy it. I mean, the nice part about getting normal skill rolls is you don't have to think about it. You just take the skills you want to take. It's tough to say, honestly. Smiley also hit a bunch of people and is 1 SPP, much like Jessup's huge piece. 1 SPP away from hitting level 4, which is gross. So this Minotaur is awful. It needs to go away. It's just not something I want to deal with, which I get to next week. So I don't know. Gradix's big problem is just, what I was mentioned before, is there enough time for the skills to be impactful? And because these Chaos Warriors are so SPP starved, I don't think that there is time to get special skills. That said, dodge does make this place very scary. Blodge makes any Chaos Warrior extremely tough to deal with, because they have 4 strength. So it's worth considering. I don't have a good answer there. I would probably take dodge because I'm greedy, but probably is not the right decision. Oh, I forgot to see if she had more fan factor now. She's not. Also at 80. Getting above 80 for some reason seems to be difficult for this league. And then let's take a look at Andrew's lineup here. So it does have a miss next game on a Chaos Dwarf blocker, which is a little unfortunate. But level up on Bull Centaur, level up on Sharp Finger via MVPs, of course. And he'll also have his Kick Wrestle piece back, which is great. probably just wants to get block, assuming not a doubles roll, or wrestle. Could just honestly wrestle is probably what I would get on this piece. There's a lot of block in this league, and wrestle would definitely be a big help. So that's what I would get. Bull center level up here. This is on the minus MA. Block, I think, is the easy one. Could get guard too, but block is really what he wants to have on this piece. Beyond that, Minotaur didn't have a great game of hitting, unfortunately. And I don't know, Andrew's team is doing fine. This team is plenty scary. Obviously, he wants to get these Gastorf blockers to level 2, but they are both one MVP in Ironbacks here, one injury away from hitting level 2, so that's fine. Once these guys get guard, they're kind of happy, honestly. I don't know, yeah, this team's doing fine. Both 1400 with his level ups, assuming no doubles. Doesn't really need to hire anybody new. I mean, this team is looking good. He could hire more hobgoblins, honestly, just to foul, but I think 4 is kind of the happy number. That's the other thing, actually. That's probably the better use of this piece, is get this piece dirty player to go step on people. Probably the better use of that roll-up. Wrestle is good, but any more fouling to this team is probably the big advantage to go for. Yeah, that's our episode of the week. I think predictions were pretty right. Maybe. I think I said tie here, which is wrong, but whatever. Let's take a look at next week here. We've got Undead versus Dark Elf here. Last time these teams played, this is a repeat of whatever week this is, week 5, I want to say. Looks like he lost 1-0. We'll see. I mean, he's definitely got better blitzing power. He's got more maneuverability than he used to. 1440 for the team value. Orville sitting with 1360. So, Babe going the way of Orville. I don't know. This is going to be a pretty close game, I think. Orville's got a lot of maneuverability and a lot more skills than he used to. A lot of dodge. But the one nice thing about Zach going ham on tackle is he has 3 tackle pieces, which is pretty huge. So we'll see. If the mummies behave well, things could go really good for Zach. If his whites behave well, things can go great. I think first possession is going to be a pretty big deal. We'll see. If Orville scores too quickly again, or scores too quickly and doesn't defend appropriately, easily could see a 2-1 grind type situation here. I think I'm going to give it to Zach, just because Orville's elf luck hasn't been great, and he hasn't been rolling very well to get fancy elves, so we'll say Zach. Well, I don't know. What could be wrong? We'll buck the trend here. Up next, we've got Dark Iron Guzzlers. No, well, that is true. We've got Castorf versus Skaven here. Do a quick some math here. So plus, so assuming normal rolls, plus 40, so 1410. Andrew's giving up a lot of money now. Assuming normal skill rolls, well, this guy has to go away. But assuming a normal skill up here, looking at 890. And then let's see if he buys. Well, let's say he spends 160 worth of team value. Well, whatever. Let's say he buys 2 God Runners. Or either way, it's a difference of 10k, no matter what he buys here. Well, kind of impacts the loader. Let me do some brain math here. So if he buys the Rat Ogre, it's at 1040, and then he's got 1, 2, 3 pieces out, so it'll be plus another 150 on top of that. So it's 1190 versus 1200 basically. So he'll be getting how much should I say Andrew has? 1410, I want to say. Yeah, 1410. So, I mean, it's kind of a one way or the other sort of thing. Jessup's going to need 200, which is a pretty big deal. I'd be really tempted to take a lot to do the Apothecary 2 Babes thing. Especially because Jessup's armor value is not that great right now. Well, it's not that great ever. because he's playing Skaven, but he needs to keep his good pieces alive as much as he can. I don't know. Jessup definitely cannot fight this team head on. He just can't. He can't. It's impossible. Too much block, too much tackle, enough guard to be annoying. Minotaur is stronger than anything he's got. Even if he buys the Rat Ogre, the Minotaur can still mess him up. Bull Centaurs are still a problem. If he had his claw piece, then I'd feel a little more confident for him. But without the 4-strength claw guy, this is a much more straightforward matchup for Andrew, especially if this guy gets dirty player. Last time they played, week 5, he got 2-0'd. But Jessup's team is so beat up, I don't think that's going to happen this week. We'll see. I mean, I don't remember if there are fun star players or mercenaries you can get at 200, so that's something to think about for Jessup. But I guess this is the best word for it. I mean, Skaven bullshit is still a thing. Gut runners are really good. He definitely could win this game, no problem. Andrew still has defense issues. I don't know. Jessup really likes to get mixed up, and that is going to get him punched in the mouth with this team. It's not a team you can fight with. It's not a team he can fight with anyway. Like, I can get away with it. Mark can get away with it. Zach can probably get away with it. Chaos can get away with it. But all the other finesse teams can't stand up to Andrew cleanly at this point. So I don't know. I'm gonna give it to Andrew, I think. And then we got me versus Chaos. I'm really uncertain about this matchup. In part because I'm giving away a ton of money, just a truckload of money. Last time we played was 1-1 tie, but I also only had 2 0 SVP Bloodletter Daemons, and it was only a tie thanks to some miracle throwing and a lot of GFIing. Let's think about how much money we're giving away here. I know it's a lot, but 1650. $1440. So it's well, it's 180 or 190. So that's not that bad actually, but it's wizard money or it's something and a babe. Tough call, honestly. Wizards do mess me up if they work, which Zach's wizard didn't work very well against me, but well, it did. He got the ball free. He just wasn't in a position to take advantage of it. So I don't know. We're kind of even in a lot of ways, honestly. Her big guy is much better than mine. Is part of the problem. Smiley is much better than Betty. Betty's tougher, but Smiley hits a lot harder. I think I've got more block than she does, but just barely. She does have a wrestle piece as well. Kind of depends. If my team hits as well as they did last week, it's not going to be a good game for me. But I've got a lot more level ups, and I do have a lot of things that she can't mess with. I mean, like I said, we're kind of on parity in terms of strength with my 2 guard pieces and 1 strength guy. And we both have really good blitzing capabilities thanks to Horns. Mine's actually a little bit better because of Horns Juggernaut, but debatable decisions here. I do have Dauntless too, which was pretty nice last week. So hopefully it'll be nice this week. I don't know, honestly. I really don't know. A tie game does seem likely, although I would like to break Great X win streak, or not losing streak, I guess is a better way to think of it. We'll see. It's going to be a tough game. I'm not looking forward to it. I think a tie is the most likely outcome, simply because we're both not that fast, and we both hit pretty hard, or at least we both hit a lot, so I don't know. Vampire versus Norse here. Let's say Chris doesn't buy a Thrall just for ease. 1330 is what we're looking at here. Versus Mark's 1510. So assuming Mark doesn't buy anybody and Chris doesn't buy anybody, Chris is getting 180, which will probably go to an Abath carrying a babe because Chris has problems keeping his own people alive and on the pitch, let alone all the damage Mark will be doing to it. Last time they played, Mark almost tabled Chris's team. A lot has changed in the interim, most notably Pierce is now Pierce 2 and doesn't have piling on, but Mark didn't really piling on a lot in general. Like I said, last time they met, just a huge SVP fest for Mark. We'll see, I guess. I don't see this changing a lot, honestly. I just don't. I really don't. I mean, Chris's vampires could hit hard again this week. His thralls could hit hard. 7 armor value is 7 armor value. I don't know. It's going to be a bloody mess one way or the other. I'm going to give it to Mark just because I don't... Chris's vampires are so poorly behaved. I don't see them working out. But still, maybe Chris will break his streak and go back to his biting ways. So yeah, not too bad. I'm going to take a look at rankings here. I'm going to skip the Hall of Fame just because it's not updating for fun, I guess. So we're just going to ignore it this week. Rankings here. Griddick and I are still fighting for first and second, which will be exciting. It'll either be exactly the same or I'll be ahead next week. Same with Jessup and Mark squabbling over third and fourth. Orville and Andrew still tied with the identical records, and Chris kind of hovering around there too. The only one that's kind of, I mean, even then, Zach's win away of tying Chris up, so we will see, I guess. I think these are the two general tiers at this point. It's pretty difficult. I mean, it's not impossible. If Orville wins, for example, all 4 games, he would be, and Mark, and Just Blues, he'd be up in third and fourth. But these are the 2 general group separations, I would say. It's kind of a question of where things go. I don't think there's any changes this week whatsoever because everybody's positioning stayed the same. But yeah, so still looking like Chaos, Skaven, Dark Elf, and Undead, which is not a group I want to exist. And then me versus Norse, and Andrew, and Chris. These aren't groups I like. I don't like these groups. I don't want to be in a group with these 3 and have this group exist. This is no good. I don't like it whatsoever. Like I mentioned, we've got 4 games left in the regular season. Then we move on to group stage. So we've got 10 games left in the season, which is crazy. It's a crazy amount of games. But it's also scary how high everybody's team value is. Pretty much, let's see here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams above 1,400 at this point, because Andrew will be at 1,410. Orville's almost there. I mean, pretty much everybody except Jessup and, well, I mean, Chris is pretty close, I guess. Everybody except Jessup is above 1,300 at this point. Yeah. Not a great outcome for Jessup here. Hopefully his pieces stay more alive next week. But anyway, everybody's getting pretty developed and kind of scary. That's sort of the nature of all the SVP flying around at this stage. But yeah, pretty scary. Just want to take a quick perusal here, see if any big shakeups are possible. I mean, because we got a bunch of groups that are really close together, the group stage is very much up for grabs, honestly. Couple head-to-head matchups actually. Like I said, this is a repeat of week 5 because now we're in repeat weeks because we've had so many. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully better for some people, hopefully worse for others. Mostly Greyduck because I'm playing her. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next week.